Hey, it's Pupmeister, and today we are going to be looking at everything to do with mapping. If you didn't even know you could map, you're going to find out everything you could possibly want to know. So, whether it's making a map, how to map, marking your map, come on, man, I'm trying to do a video here. You will find out in this video. So let's get started. Let's start with the very basics. How to actually make a blank map to start from. Well, you're going to need one redstone dust in the middle and 4 iron ingots around, and that will give you a compass. Once you have a compass, you can put that in the middle and surround it in paper. That will give you an empty map. And this map will remain empty until you right-click and look at it. Just like that. And then you will have a map that you can use. Now, what if you want a bigger map? You have to find one of these, a cartography table. You will find these in villages, or you can make your own, like this. All you need are 4 planks and 2 paper above it, and you make yourself a cartography table. So once you have your cartography table and you have your map, what if you want a map that covers more ground than just your village or wherever your base is? Well, you right-click into the cartography table. You can take your map, put it in the top section, and you will see a copy of the map that you have right here. This cannot be done with a blank map. It has to be done with a regular map. To make a larger map, place some paper in the bottom section, and as you can tell, this part got smaller, allowing you to see more of a larger area. So if we take a peek at our map, you'll notice that it also moved around. So as you get bigger, it uses different chunks, and therefore it'll move from side to side or wherever as the map expands. You can continue to make your map larger. And as you can see, the scaling of the map will be shown when you hover over it. So this is 1 to 4, and it's level 2 of 4. And when you look, you can see the area has moved again, but it's again smaller. So the whole blank area of the map is still available. So as you look and you move, you can see the map expanding and showing you more of the area as you explore. The next size you can get is 1 to 8 or levels 3 of 4. And you can see that's a lot smaller. But there's still one more that you can do. And as you can tell, all you have to do is keep adding the paper here. And now you've got 1 to 16 or level 4 of 4. This is as big as your map can get. I'm in the middle of mapping over here. So this is the same 4 of 4 or 1 to 16 as you see in my hand. Now here, we have it marked in different areas, like that, and we have it posted on a wall so we can walk up and just look at it. And it's a copy of the map. So see how I have one in my hand and this one is right here? If I expand the map in my hand, this map will automatically get filled. So look at the empty area I'm heading for. Let's just make sure it's empty on here. See this dark brown area? It's not covered by the water or anything. Okay, so as we go and we uncover this area and we dodge all the mobs, we uncover more and more. So let's go look at the original map and see if it automatically showed the new uncovered areas. And look at that. See how this is now uncovered by what we did with the map in our hand as we were exploring? This is a great way to never lose a map. For example, if you're exploring out there and you've got let's say you've even got 3/4 of the map done and you just have this little corner over here to do, and then you die and you lose your map. You would have to start all over again. However, if you have a copy like this back at your base, it would still be here and you wouldn't lose your map, even though you lost the map in your hand that you were exploring with. So that is a really good thing to do if you're mapping, just in case something unexpected happens. So the question becomes, how do I copy my map? How do I post it on a wall? How do I mark my map? All these questions are about to be answered. Now, in order to post a map on a wall, you're going to need an item frame. And this is how you make an item frame. Leather in the middle, sticks all the way around, and you get your item frame. Once you have an item frame, you can right-click it onto a wall, just like that. Grab your map, and right-click it onto the item frame. And there you go. And of course, you can have multiple item frames. You can go all the way around this with more item frames, and then you can map all these areas, and in the end, you can have a really big map showing your world. If you're wondering how to get paper, well, that is sugarcane. You put 3 sugarcane in a row, and it gives you 3 pieces of paper. Just so I don't confuse the maps, I'm going to be using a small map to explain the rest. So how do I make a copy of this map? Well, you go into your cartography table, and instead of putting paper here, which will give you a larger map, you put another empty map into this part, and it gives you duplicate maps. So now you will have 2 maps. And if I separate them, you can tell they're complete duplicates as I move back and forth. So one of these could go on your wall back at your base, and one of them can go with you to expand. Of course, that's only if you have a larger map. This one, obviously the smallest maps are like you open it and it's done. Now, before we get into how to mark a map, there's another thing you can do. You can freeze your map. In other words, it will not be updated. So this is good if you want a map of your original base or whatever you're mapping without all the additions. In other words, this is what it looked like when I first started. If you want a map like that, that never gets updated, you can just put your map in and then a glass pane in the bottom section, and that will give you a locked map. In other words, this map will not change ever. So the next question becomes, how do I mark a map? How do I do that? How do I place these? Well, let's take a look. The first thing you're going to need to do that are banners. So if you make a banner, and that's how you make a banner, just 6 pieces of wool and 1 stick, and you get a banner. And you can also make different colored banners. So if you color your wool, or if you want a lot of red wool, color your sheep. And then all they will make is red wool. It'll save you on a lot of color from flowers and stuff like that. So now that you have your map and you have your banner, you can mark the map. However, we need one more thing in order to do that, and that is an anvil. You'll need to put your banner in the first position, and you can see a name comes up here. So you can erase it, and then let's mark our barn, for example. So you want to put barn in. Now that we have the banner indicating what we want, we can go over to what we want to mark, the barn in this case, and place the banner there. The banner can also be placed underground and then covered if you don't want to see it. It doesn't matter as long as it is here. And before you bury it, if that's what you're doing, you have to connect the map to the banner. And the way you do that is by holding the map and clicking on the main part of the banner like that with right clicking. If you look at your map now, it shows that there is a barn there. And if we look at the copy of our map, and we'll put it over here so you know it's the copy. That's what this map looks like. The copy of our map has automatically been updated, just like I told you before, even with the labels. And of course, you can color code things if you have multiple colored banners. For example, we could make a banner for the farm. So if we go all the way out here to this farm, and just like I said before, we can bury it. So let's bury this one. So you have to go at least 3 down because the banner itself is too high. Okay, so you can put it down there. And then what do we need to do? We need to right click the top of the banner like that. And you get farm. And then we can cover it back up like that. And you don't even know that a map is there. And yet, you still have the marking. And this is great because when you color code things, it makes it easier to find. So for example, you might use white for most of your things, like maybe you'll come across a mine that you want to label, or an ocean monument, a jungle temple, whatever the case may be. You might want to use that. if you use portals like this to get around, you might want to label your portals and put, in a different one. So maybe red. Maybe I want all my portals to be red. So you can put a red flag on the side of your portal. And then wherever there's a portal on your map, and if you have like a really big area of a map and multiple maps, you can see exactly where all your portals are. So color coding them can be really beneficial. So if you no longer want something marked on your map and you want to take the label off your map, for example, you can see the farm label is no longer there. How do you do that? Well, that becomes very simple. All you have to do is break the banner like that, and your label is gone. What if I want to change what my label says on my banner? Well, that's no problem either. You just go back to your anvil, put in your banner that you want to change, and then erase it and put whatever else you want to label. For example, now I can label my trees up there. And all I have to do is place it. And again, you can place it anywhere. You can place it like this or whatever. And just like before, all you have to do is right click, and there it is. And you've changed your banner. Of course, it will cost you 1 XP every time you want to change it, as you can see here. I guess the last thing I will talk about is the actual process of mapping. As you can tell, you can walk around and it will. Now, in this case, of course, like I said, you have the smallest map, so everything is automatically shown. But if you had a bigger map, as you walked, things would show up. So if you're a little later in the game, you can use an elytra and fly over an area with your map. And you will map things much, much quicker. But, there's always a but. If you use an elytra and you're flying over, you can miss things. You might miss a shipwreck. You might miss a mine shaft or a geode or something else that you would come across if you were walking. But from the air, maybe it was covered by trees. Maybe, you're just flying too fast and you don't see it. So there's pros and cons to both ways. And that is about everything you could possibly want to know about mapping. So hopefully now you're fully prepared to go map your world and see what lies beyond the horizon. Until next time, this is Pupmeister and a cartographer. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye for now.